All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to begin by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. Right, so this title of this video would be The End Is Not Yet Come. Right? And it's not to be confused with the fact that we are in the end times. In fact, we are at the end of the end times, right? But me saying the end is pertaining to how Yahweh Shai told us we have to do what? Endure unto the end, and then the same shall be saved, right? And that end is not here yet, right? We that end right there, that's all the way up until the time that, Lord willing, you get beamed up, right? And in a chariot, right? Right before the destruction of this place, right? That's the end that I'm referring to, right? You got to endure into the end. That time has not come yet, right? The works are not done. The job is not finished, right? We still got a ways to go. Prophecies are still unfolding, right? More things must come to pass, right? Which is really what Yahweh Shai is speaking of right here, right? This is Matthew 24:6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet," right? And, it says wars and rumors of war, but that's also all prophecy, right? You got the MOTB, right? You got the World War III, right? Things of that nature. Verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be..." Salakia. But it says, "And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." Right? And it continues on to tell you, the things that will happen. Right? But skipping, I'll just read down. Verse 10, it says, "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many." And these things, of course, are beginning to happen now, right? The wars and rumors of wars, right? So on and so forth, nation against nation, false prophets, people turning their back on the faith, right? So on and so forth. Verse 12, it says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." Right? So there's that time. The time is now, but the end of that is not here. Like I said, that end is, all the way up until the time you get beamed up in the chariots, man. Right? You have to endure until there's nothing to endure, if that makes sense, right? So from there, we'll go to, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, and I'll start at 1. And you see it says, "Preach the word," right? Because this goes, like I said, just goes into enduring, right? The end has not yet come. We still have a job to do. It says, "I charge thee therefore before the Most High and the Lord Mashiach Yahushua, who shall judge the quick and the dead at the appearing and his kingdom," right? Who is the quick? The quick are those who are quickened. Speaking of being let's say you could say awakened by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Those are those who are quickened, right? Let's see. It's a precept on that. I think it's might be in Ephesians. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, "And you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in the time you walked according to the course of this world," right, being dead. It says, "according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, among whom also we all had our conversation in times past, in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. But the Most High, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us, even when we were dead in sins, hath quickened us together with Hamashiach. By grace ye are saved," right? And, this just goes into the whole reason that Yahushua was down here, right? When he was crucified and he said, "It is finished," right? He was talking about what? The punishment of the law, right? People, and it's a little off topic, but people talk about, how Yahushua came to fulfill the law, but he told you himself, he didn't come to destroy it, he came to fulfill it, right? He came to do away with the punishment, the penalty of it, right? That's why we're not slaves to it, right? Otherwise, we will be dead. We would have no claim to any part of the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? Because our sacrifices have become as nothing because people started doing it in vanity, right? And even the scriptures tell you, matter of fact, let me read it. It's in the Old Testament. It's Isaiah. Okay. The book of Isaiah, chapter 64, and verse 6, it says, "But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away," man. So even the righteousness that we do, or that men of the Lord may have, is as filthy rags, man. You don't deserve the reward that the elect will get, right? But Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, having, like I said in where was that? Right here in Ephesians 2 and 4, right? It says, "But the Most High, who is rich in mercy," right? He is rich in mercy, that grace, right? So although we may not deserve it, him being faithful to the promise to the children of Israel, right? Not to the whole world. Let's prove that right quick. It's very quick. All you have to do is read Romans 9. Romans 9 and 4, it says, "Who are Israelites to whom," right? That's possession, right? To whom, right? Pertaineth, right? It pertains to who? The Israelites. That's it. It says the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises, right? That's where it stops. To Israel, not to the whole world, right? But point being that mercy that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has is what grants us an ability to get that reward, right? But and I kind of went on like a little tangent there, a little spiral. But going back to 2 Timothy 4 and 1, right? Again, it says, "I charge thee therefore before the Most High and the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua, who shall judge the quick, right? So we just talked about who the quick is, right? Those who were awakened by Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, right? Those who were, had their eyes open, had their ears open, right? It says, and the dead, because the dead are who? Those who have not been quickened, right? That's Revelation 11 and 8, right? Spiritual dead bodies, right? Or that's also Ezekiel. I think it's Ezekiel 18 pertaining to what? That valley of dry bones, right? It says, at his appearing and his kingdom, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, right? Because people, the majority of, well, of course, the entire world, right? But even the majority of Israel would not endure sound doctrine. That's why 2/3 has to be cut off, right? 2/3 is more. Yeah, I mean, it's more than half. I mean, that's the majority. It's simple math, right? But that's why they have to be cut off, because only 1/3 of Israel is really going to, endure that sound doctrine, right? That 144,000, right? It says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry, right? So that's what we must do. That's what we must do. We have to endure, right? Do the work of an evangelist, right? Like it says, make full proof of thy ministry. So you there's still work to do. There's still things to be done, right? The apostles often say, they knew brothers, way back when, right? When the camps first started, there's plenty of brothers that were in this thing for years that fell off, or went into other doctrines, and so on and so forth, right? But the point being, again, the end is not yet, right? You must endure. You must continue the walk. So this is just how I'm going to end it, right? 2 Timothy 2 and 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Hamashiach Yahushua. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier, right? So you're not gonna be worried too much about the things that's going on in this life. Now, of course, we have day-to-day things, right? You have to survive, but at the end of the day, we know what our true job is, and that's to teach the word, man. But it's just showing, like I said, and you have to endure. There's that word again, endure, right? And that might be included in the title, because I've said that many a times, right? So the end is not yet here. There's still work to be done. Still things to do. Still things to learn, right? Ever learning, but don't be ever learning, never able to come into the truth, roughly paraphrasing, right? There's always things to learn. There's always things to brush up on, right? The work is not done. But with that, I'm gonna get out of here. Quick lunch break lesson. So Lord willing, it was edifying. I'm going to end by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the hopefully lit.